Let's get to a big one here. And I talked about it for a long time yesterday on the podcast, and I really talked about it more from a 30,000-foot view than I did kind of get into the nitty-gritty of this particular matchup. Number 6, Ohio State on the road at number 9, Notre Dame. I will remain consistent in saying that we view Ohio State differently than almost everybody in the country. Nobody gets the level of scrutiny as Ohio State. This is a team that has beaten everybody handily this season and should, because they haven't played anybody particularly tough. But they beat Indiana in a game that they handled, and people said it wasn't good enough. And then Youngstown, and it's like, well, you still don't have a starting quarterback. And then they handled Western Kentucky, and it started to quiet down the naysayers. But let's face it, they've continued to move down in the rankings, and their average margin of victory is up there with the top teams in the country. You know, and it begs the question, as I've said so far this week on the show, imagine a scenario where Ohio State is the one hosting Wyoming, and they're in a 10-10 game in the fourth quarter. Imagine a scenario where Ohio State is the one on the road at Boston College, and they're in a game in which they control for a bit of it and then make mistake after mistake and allow Boston College several opportunities to win the game late before surviving on the road. We'd never let them hear the end of it. And yet here we are. We've knocked Ohio State for the way they've looked, and they've got a brand new quarterback. I think that they're coming into their own a little bit, to be quite honest with you. The way that film looked against Western Kentucky, this is a team that is much better than they were in week 1. They've found their identity a little bit in terms of their run game and in particular in their pass game. And now they're going to go on the road and face Notre Dame. And this is a Notre Dame team that I really believe in. So this is a great matchup. This is, I think, the first great game that we've got in college football this season. Let's start with Notre Dame. Sam Hartman has been spectacular. And if you're a Notre Dame fan, this is exactly what you dreamed of. Not just hoped, but dreamed of when Sam Hartman committed and transferred to Notre Dame. He has been outstanding. It is very clear that last year they did not have a requisite quarterback. We saw that last week when Tyler Buckner struggled against South Florida for Alabama. Now they have an adult in the room at quarterback, and I know that sounds harsh, but listen, that's just kind of the way I talk, and it's improved every element of their offense. Estime is a better running back because of Sam Hartman. The skill position players are better. Why? Because of Sam Hartman. The offensive line is better because of Sam Hartman. This is a guy that gives me a lot of belief in what the top end and the ceiling can be for Notre Dame. I told you yesterday, I think this could be the most impactful or important win, if they were to win this game, that Notre Dame has had in basically 30 years. Because it would tell me and all of us, if they were to win, that Notre Dame is a legitimate title contender. Think about it now. This is Sam Hartman's 50th start of his career. So they've got the important experience at that position. They're going to get Bertrand back at linebacker. He missed last week with a concussion. I look at this team. They're 10-1 in their last 11 games dating back to last season. That one loss was against USC and Caleb Williams. Their biggest question mark, I believe, is not how their offense is going to play, because I think their offense will play particularly well. It's how much can you disrupt the timing and the impact of what Kyle McCord is feeling on the opposite side. Kyle McCord's making his 4th start, not his 50th, right? So clear advantage for Notre Dame. What do you need to do to a guy making his 4th start and really his first? I know he started at Indiana, but to be fair to Indiana, like, this is his first real road, like, environment. You know what I mean? Like, environment. By the way, I'm interested to see how much red is going to be in that stadium, but I digress for a moment. Notre Dame's job is going to be, can we get pressure on Kyle McCord? Really, Ohio State is one of the best pass blocking teams in the country, have been for a number of years. If they can protect McCord and he can just play within the system, Ohio State's got a lot of talent. They're more talented than Notre Dame, okay? they will be able to move the football as long as they can protect McCord. Then you can get to the run game. It's going to be really important that they run the ball efficiently and well, in particular early, because one of the things that Ryan Day loves to do, and one of the things that makes them most potent, is their ability, in particular in the second quarter, with tempo, to throw play action pass when they cross the 50-yard line. It's something that they love to do, and he's got to have it. Day, on the other hand, he's looking at this and he's like, what do I have to do to earn any sort of narrative or credibility? He's 46-1 against teams outside of the top 5. The only loss was that loss in C.J. Stroud's second start, I believe it was, against Oregon in 2021. Similarly, on their side, I do believe that a lot of this game rests in not necessarily how their offense plays, although that's obviously important, but how much they can affect the passer. So this is an area where they have not been strong so far this year, and an area that we thought they would have some strength coming into the season. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. JT Tuimoloau, highly recruited player and a guy that dominated against Penn State last year, and we get the sense that it was like, okay, he's about to become a dominant edge rusher. Jack Sawyer, highly recruited. Can he be a dominant edge rusher? And yet, they have yet to record a sack between them this season against, let's face it, lesser competition. Last week got better, though. I'll say this. Last week, 13 pressures between them against Western Kentucky. Only had 4 in the first 2 games. It's starting to get a little bit better. Can they get to Hartman? If they can get to Hartman, Ohio State's got a great chance in this game. Ohio State is favored by 3. This is going to be a wonderful game. I believe the key to the whole game lies in the hands of the pass rush of each team. The team that generates pass rush is going to win the game, because everything else to me is somewhat constant and equal. That's just where I'm sitting right now. Ohio State favored by 3. They're on the road. Thank you for watching the Joel Klatt Show YouTube channel. And if you liked this clip, make sure to like it and subscribe to the channel, and you can stay up to date on all of my college football coverage.